Coming up on The Sporting Chef.
Today on the show, I've got 2 different kinds of scallops, 3 different ways. I've got lemons, neck meat, peppers, and some sushi you may not want to eat.
What do you get when you find the best fish and game chefs? Cookbook authors, award winners, fishmongers, outdoor experts, and put them on the fastest half hour on outdoor television. Hosted by one of America's best-known wild game chefs, Scott Leysath, The Sporting Chef. Brought to you by Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors.
You know, people often tell me that they don't know how to cook scallops, or they've cooked scallops before and they're very rubbery. If you've ever watched Hell's Kitchen, you can see Gordon Ramsay cussing at people because they don't know how to cook scallops. This is a sea scallop, and it has the adductor muscle here that you want to remove. This is what attaches it to the shell. You can eat these raw. These are from Catalina Offshore Products, as long as they're reputable. These have not been frozen. This is a fresh, no chemical added scallop. Scallops have about 80% water anyway. Before they freeze them, they add trisodium phosphate or something like that to them, which actually makes them plump up, makes them whiter in color, and adds moisture to them so they look better. But you'll notice that when you go to cook them, a lot of times they'll turn from this size to about the size of a garbanzo bean. That's what happens with the frozen ones. The key here is to leave it just a little bit undercooked in the center. You're not going to die from a scallop that's just a little bit undercooked. And if you do, you know, I'll never know about it. I'm actually going to fry some of these sea scallops. I'm going to be a little decadent. Some of you might say, I can't believe he's going to fry those beautiful sea scallops. They're going to be great. They're going to be moist on the inside. Cilantro tartar sauce. I also have a tomato, Thai, basil, lime, garlic, butter sauce that I'm going to put on some scallops. But first off, Tiffany Haugen is a master at cooking wild game. And a lot of people don't use a lot of parts of the animal, like a neck roast, the shanks. Tiffany makes use of everything, including the neck roast. Tiffany, do your thing.
Venison neck meat is one of the most overlooked cuts on a deer. Usually you're battling through trying to get rid of all that silver skin, or it's just simply thrown into the burger for grind. But I'm going to show you today what to do with this cut of meat to get the most out of it. We're going to slow cook it. What we have here on this remaining deer carcass is just the rib and the neck meat. Everything else has already been taken off. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to fillet the neck meat off of the bone. So I'm just cutting till I reach that backbone, going right alongside, not really worrying about separating anything out. Coming up around, again until I hit bone, and now I'm just going to go down as far as I can with that knife. We're just going to follow that bone right up the spine here with the knife. All right, and then we can just lift back up underneath, make sure we're as close to the bone as possible. Coming back around, you can feel it loosening up. That's as simple as that, just like filleting a fish. The key is just sticking right close to that bone, getting as much meat as you can. Now this is ready to season, sear, and put in the crock pot. What gives that meat an extra layer of flavor when it's going to be slow cooked. You want to make sure and get both sides of the neck and the edges. This neck is ready for the slow cooker. There are no liquids needed, as once it starts cooking, it's going to release and cook in its own juices. Once the neck meat has cooled or refrigerated overnight, simply pull it apart, discarding any unwanted fat or sinuous tissues. This process is so simple, and the meat pulls apart so easily. Now it can be used as is, or put into tacos, burritos, shepherd's pie, or a simple meat gravy. And it's that easy. Neck meat is delicious, and I promise you're gonna like it too.
If you want to find out more about Tiffany, go to tiffanyhaugen.com. Get the lowdown on all her cookbooks, like her on Facebook, all the normal stuff. Tiffany's the real deal. Now, If you've got frozen scallops, the key is to get them really, really dry. These fresh scallops from Catalina Offshore Products don't have the water in them that a frozen one has. You'll notice that when you get a frozen scallop, they have a lot of liquid in them, and it's kind of that milky liquid. And that is part of that sodium polytriphosphate. Look it up anyway. When you put it into a skillet, all this juice guishes out, and it competes with whatever sauce you're trying to give and whatever flavor you're going to give to your scallop, so you can never really get them brown. Just make sure if you've got something, whether it's fish or scallops, and they have been frozen, wrap them in paper towels and get as much of that liquid out as you can. And if you're fortunate enough to have a whole bunch of nice fresh sea scallops like these, and you're not going to eat them right away, and you want to freeze them, here's a tip that'll show you how to freeze them without squeezing them. But if you happen to have leftover fresh scallops and you want to freeze them, and put them in 2-ply paper towels and just pat them dry, take a sheet pan and spray it lightly with some pan spray. Place your scallops on the pan and put it into the freezer until the scallops are frozen like this. Put them into your food saver bag. Don't forget to label and date them. Now, they're good for up to a year, but with any seafood, I strongly recommend that you eat it within 3, 4, 5, 6 months of freezing. 4 quick scallop dishes in just a few minutes coming up. And then there's Stacy, Cee Dub, and Buddy. Welcome back to The Sporting Chef. I'm Scott Leysath. I'm cooking scallops. Chef Chris Logan's coming up after me. I have a skillet. I have a cast iron skillet from Camp Chef, and I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil, and I don't wanna add my scallops until the olive oil is hot. The pan is hot. The whole idea here is to get a nice sear on the outside of the scallops. You don't wanna put these beautiful fresh scallops into a medium hot pan because it won't get a sear on the outside. You won't get any color on the outside. And by the way, as you've heard me say a time or two, searing scallops, searing anything on the outside doesn't seal in the juices, but what it does do is make it caramelized on the outside, gives it a nice crust, and it'll make it taste a little bit better on the inside. Into the skillet, just to get them nice and browned. They're going to actually stick. Initially, they'll stick just a little bit. As soon as you get that sear on them, you'll be able to move them and scoochie them around a little bit. I've got some fresh tomato. They were seasoned, by the way, with the High Mountain Gourmet fish seasoning. This is my go-to seasoning for just about any kind of fish and shellfish. High Mountain's got a great line of seasoning. I've got tomatoes, Thai basil, fresh lime, fresh garlic. I'm going to finish it with a little bit of butter. But while this is doing its thing, I want you to check out Chef Christopher Logan, who also cooks scallops 2 ways at Catalina Offshore Products.
I've got 2 different types of scallops. I've got a half-moon bay calico or an eastern sea scallop. Sea salt, hot pan, sear. I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to serve it with a fried Yukon potato chip that we're going to just finish in the oil. All I did is I just sliced them. Hot oil in a pan. It's going to go back in at the end of this, so you're going to have some crisp to go with the seared sea scallop and the half moon. The difference in flavor profiles between the two: the eastern scallop or the sea scallop is a milder. The half moon, the calico, is a meatier, firmer scallop. They all have a connective tissue. What you want to do is you want to remove that, because as this cooks, it's going to harden up. It's just a muscle. Scallops are very tender, but you want to remove that. In a calico, you're just going to make a quick incision and remove that structure. Sea salt. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. To me, what I do is just pan sear them. Probably about 30 seconds. As this is going on, I'm going to put these Yukons in to finish them off, because I want that crispy texture to go with this beautiful fleshy protein. These have been cooking for a total of probably about 1.5 minutes. I slice them very thin. Some people, you wash them off to remove some of the starch. I kind of like the starch in here. It helps with the caramelization process. Lemon vinaigrette. This is Meyer lemons, the zest, the juice, a touch of kosher salt, touch of sugar, brings out the lemon flavor, white pepper for a heat background, neutral oil, sunflower. I'm gonna put that on top of sea scallop. This is also this with egg yolk. Basically the same process, the zest, the juice, all those combinations. A couple egg yolk, put it in a blender, then add the oil, aioli, on top of the calico. Micro cilantro. You know why? Because it's foofy, and this is the kind of show that we use foofy things on. What do you think, Scott? Just for you.
Well, now, Chris, I don't know who the foofiest one on the show is, but I'm pretty sure you rank up near the top. And of course, you get your scallops at Catalina Offshore Products. Me too. I'm going to flip these beautiful sea scallops now. And I've got color on the outside. They're not going to be rubbery. They're about done. You can eat these scallops just like this now. They're plenty cooked. Over here I've got some oil heating, and I'm going to do a little fried scallop. This is masa flour. This is basically what you make tortillas out of, corn tortillas and tamales. It's masa flour. It gives it kind of that tortilla flavor. To that, I'm going to add some of the High Mountain Bayou Bass seasoning, because masa flour doesn't have any seasoning to it. You've got to add some flavor to it. And I'm going to dust some of these scallops in the flour, drop them into the hot oil without burning myself. And I want these, again, to be slightly undercooked. If you were to take a previously frozen scallop and dust them in flour and drop them into hot oil, what will happen is all this water is going to come out. So you want to make sure you dry them out. We've got two different scallop dishes here. Chris Logan did his thing. When we come back, well, along with the scallops, of course, we had deer necks, but we're not done. On deck is Stacy Harris, Cee Dub, and Mr. Buddy T himself. Grab a glass of something good to drink and come on back. And now here's the ever popular Stacy Harris waxing poetically about why she loves lemons.
Scott, I keep lemons on my counter all year long, all the time, because there are so many uses. They are so valuable. One of my favorite tips about using lemons is that you can put them in stews and soups at the end of your dish, and it enhances all the flavors in the entire stew. It smells great, it tastes great, and you don't have to use as much salt if you're on a low sodium diet. That is one tip that I have. Another way that I like to use lemons is I like to clean with them. One of my favorite ways to clean with them is to clean my copper pots with them. I put a little bit of salt on the inside of the lemon, and I just rub it across the pot, and as I rub it, the tarnish just comes right off. Lemons are great for canning. Obviously, lemons have a lot of acid, and because of that, it keeps down the bacteria in your canning, and it also adds pectin, which is a thickener. When using lemons in a dish, to get more juice out of them, just roll them around a little bit on the counter. It loosens the juices. Lemons are great as a flavor enhancer, for canning, for cleaning, and don't forget to give your lemon a little roll on the counter before you use it.
You know, Stacy Harris is the real deal, and if you haven't done so already, check out gameandgarden.com. Cookbooks, videos, tons of information, and of course you can check out Sporting Chef information to find Stacy and to find Cee Dub. Cee Dub is our cast iron expert, and here's what he does when his guests are getting restless. It's a little jalapeno popper in the Camp Chef smoke vault.
Okay, Scott, everybody thinks of me as Mr. Dutch Oven, and yes, I do a lot of cooking in Dutch ovens, but the other thing I like to use is my Camp Chef Smoke Vault, and we're gonna make a real quick hors d'oeuvre here for those times when you want a little something to tide people over while you're waiting for that dish to slow cook in your Dutch oven. So we're gonna make some jalapeno poppers. We've got some jalapenos that we cut in half, seeded, and our filling here is cream cheese, salsa, cilantro, lime juice, and some cumin, and some sharp cheddar cheese. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna fill my halves with the filling, and then we're gonna wrap a partial strip of bacon around them, and then we're gonna take them over here to the smoke vault, and we're just going to toothpick our bacon on there, and these in the smoke vault are going to take about 15 to 20 minutes. So let me get our bacon on there and toothpicked on. We're not going to have to turn these. We're just going to sit them in there, and for our smoke today we're using mesquite. You could use any flavor you'd like. A lot of people like hickory, kind of goes with that bacon hickory smoke. Okay, Scott, we've got these last 3 poppers made. We're gonna take these over, set them on our tray in the smoke vault, and they're gonna go in right here. Our wood of choice for these is mesquite. So let's go ahead and light the smoke vault. And I'm going to use about a medium heat. Once our smoke vault comes up to temperature, these poppers are going to be ready in about 15 to 20 minutes, and we'll have that appetizer ready while we're waiting for something to slow cook in our Dutch oven. Okay, our poppers are done. We're going to go ahead and take these off, and we've got a nice hors d'oeuvre to serve folks while that big batch of elk ribs is finishing up. So that's what our poppers look like. So let's go ahead and get them on our cutting board and serve them to the folks. This is how we do it when we've got something low and slow going in the Dutch oven. These jalapeno poppers will keep everybody happy until dinner's done. You can find the recipe for our jalapeno poppers in our cookbook, Cee Dub's Favorites.
And now for all you sushi lovers, here's a little item not on the regular menu. Take it away, buddy.
Well, we're doing some grass carp today. We'll put some of the salmon rub on one, of Cajun campfire and trail dust on the other. Okay, we got them loaded in the smoker. Put some sausage in there. I'm gonna get these drippings from this sausage to add to the flavor of it. The last of the fat's got it cooked out of there. Bones are starting to stick up.
I come up with some different kind of sushi that the Japanese I've never seen before. Put that rice in there and you boil it for 18 minutes, exactly. I'm gonna put a little bit of trail dust in there. And sushi rice is now boiled for 18 minutes. Gotta add a little bit of sugar to it. It don't need all that much. You don't wanna make it too sweet. Put just a touch of vinegar. And we're gonna work this in. Okay, we're taking this red and yellow bell pepper. Put it in this sushi rice. We'll put this carp in there and scoop up that sushi. Oh, look at there. Fell right out on the plate. Make sure you wet that thing, otherwise it'll stick and come out in pieces. And that's the way we make grass carp sushi on the Redneck Riviera.
On the Sporting Chef show today, we've got scallops 4 different ways. Tiffany Haugen did her neck roast. We heard about lemons from Stacy Harris. Cee Dub did the jalapeno poppers. Buddy made carp sushi. Yeah, I know, carp sushi. Sounds delicious. I've got my dishes over here. This is the scallops with the garlic, lime, butter, and there's Thai basil in there also. Over here is the fried scallops with the masa crust. I'm gonna make a little cilantro tartar sauce to go with it. In this bowl, I have cilantro. I'm gonna add some mayonnaise and Dijon mustard, a little bit of my favorite Wickles hoagie relish. This is jalapeno relish, and just a pinch of sugar because tartar sauce should be just a little bit sweet, and a little bit of lemon juice. And I'm gonna mix all this up, and that's gonna go over here with my fried scallops. And I wanna thank everybody that helped on the show today, and make sure you check out sportingchef.com. All of our Sporting Chef friends have a story to tell. They have cookbooks, they've got websites, and of course there's Hunt Fish Overstock, where you can find some great deals on outdoor gear. And what Sporting Chef show would be complete without a glass of Michael David wine? This is their Incognito wine. It's a great blend of white wines. These guys are from Lodi. They hunt and fish. They're our kind of people. You've been watching The Sporting Chef. I'm Scott Leysath, and we do hope to see you next week.